You know, folks, there's something magical about the cars that ruled America's highways back in the 70s. I'm talking about an era when engineers weren't worried about fuel economy ratings or computer chips. They were building dreams on wheels. These weren't just vehicles, they were statements about who you were and where you were going in life. Growing up around these magnificent machines, I witnessed firsthand what real automotive artistry looked like. This was before everything got downsized and sanitized. This was when chrome was king. Engines were massive, and luxury meant something you could actually touch and feel. So buckle up with me as we take a trip through some of the most remarkable automobiles ever to grace American soil. The 1976 Cadillac Eldorado, America's last stand. Let me paint you a picture of automotive royalty. Imagine yourself behind the wheel of a 1976 Cadillac Eldorado, watching the world glide by through those massive pillarless windows. This wasn't just transportation, this was your personal throne room traveling at highway speeds. At 224 inches from bumper to bumper and tipping the scales at nearly 2.5 tons, this land yacht represented the final chapter of American automotive excess before everything changed. Chrysler had stuffed a colossal 500 cubic inch V8 under that endless hood, and while emissions regulations had knocked the horsepower down to just 190, you still had over 360 pound-feet of torque pulling you along like a freight locomotive. What made this Eldorado truly special wasn't just its size, it was timing. Cadillac knew they were closing the book on an era, so they made the 1976 model the last mass-produced convertible they'd build for quite a while. Each of those 14,000 convertible examples got its own commemorative plaque, like Cadillac was saying goodbye to a dear friend. I remember seeing these beauties cruise through town when I was younger, and man, they commanded respect. The interior was like stepping into a gentleman's club. Heated leather everywhere, automatic climate control that actually worked, and a sound system that could make you forget about the outside world. Hollywood stars and politicians loved these cars, and honestly, some owners treated them like museum pieces, keeping them wrapped in plastic. Today, if you can find a nice Eldorado, you're looking at anywhere from $35,000 to $90,000. But the real value? That's in the memories and the statement it makes about a time when America built cars like monuments. The 1975 Buick Electra 225, the living room on wheels. They called it the Deuce and a quarter, for good reason. At 225 inches long, this Buick Electra was basically a living room that happened to have wheels. I'm not exaggerating when I say this thing was over 18.5 feet of pure American comfort. Built on GM's rock-solid C-body platform, the Electra married the structural integrity of a bank vault with the refinement of a luxury hotel suite. Under that aircraft carrier-sized hood sat a thundering 455 cubic inch V8, cranking out 205 horses and 345 pound-feet of torque. Sure, it weighed nearly 5,000 pounds, but when that big V8 got spinning, the Electra moved with a smoothness that would put modern cars to shame. The engineering focus here wasn't about going fast, it was about making the world outside disappear. The steering felt like cutting through butter, and the cabin was so quiet you could hear a pin drop. Power windows, air conditioning, cruise control, and yes, individual ashtrays and lighters for every passenger. Sounds crazy now, but back then, that was civilized motoring. What amazes me is how popular these were as family haulers. In 1975 alone, Buick moved over 150,000 Electras because American families wanted space, comfort, and a little bit of style. And brother, did this car deliver on all three counts. These days, a clean Deuce and a quarter will run you between $12,000 and $30,000, but pristine examples command more. But honestly, the real payoff is that feeling you get when you see that massive chrome grille catching the afternoon sun. Pure automotive poetry. The 1975 Chrysler Imperial LeBaron, American royalty. When Chrysler built the Imperial LeBaron, they weren't just making another luxury sedan, they were creating automotive royalty. Picture opening a door the size of a wall, sinking into seating that felt like the finest hotel lobby furniture, and watching the outside world fade to whisper quiet as this rolling palace came to life. At nearly 19.6 feet long, this colossus was actually larger than its Cadillac and Lincoln competitors. Those sharp, angular lines and hidden headlights weren't chasing modern styling trends. They were demanding recognition and respect. Every chrome-trimmed surface, every squared-off panel declared that this car wasn't built for racing, it was built for ruling. The massive 440 cubic inch V8 under the hood generated around 215 horsepower and over 317 pound-feet of torque. Power delivery was so smooth and refined that driving felt like gliding across velvet. Chrysler's torsion-quiet suspension system was engineered to eliminate every road imperfection, transforming ordinary drives into heavenly experiences. Inside, you entered what was essentially a mobile VIP lounge. Velour or leather upholstery, wood grain panels, round analog instruments, golden accents, and every comfort feature money could buy. Automatic climate control, power mirrors, tilt steering, and ambient lighting made evening drives feel like red carpet events. Only about 8,830 LeBaron units rolled off the line that year, making surviving examples genuinely rare and highly sought after by collectors who understand what this car represented, the final breath of Imperial as Chrysler's flagship brand. After 1975, the Imperial nameplate would be absorbed into other model lines, effectively ending an era. Today, a well-preserved Imperial LeBaron commands anywhere from $20,000 to $50,000, depending on condition and originality. But beyond price tags, its real value lies in the experience of driving a piece of American automotive history when luxury meant physical grandeur and unmistakable presence. The 1972 Lincoln Continental Mark IV, the ultimate status symbol. Back in the 70s, if you wanted to show the world you'd achieved success, you didn't need billboards or press releases. You just needed a Lincoln Continental Mark IV. This automotive colossus wasn't merely a luxury car. It was a declaration of status, refined taste, and quiet authority. Stretching over 19 feet long, the Mark IV combined classical design elements with Baroque flourishes. One of its most recognizable features was that distinctive faux spare tire hump integrated into the trunk lid, a signature styling cue of the Mark series. The neoclassical vertical grille, chrome moldings, hidden headlights, and gently sloping roofline made it a showstopper whether moving or parked. Under that expansive hood lived a massive 460 cubic inch V8, generating 224 horsepower and 362 pound-feet of torque, mated to a smooth-shifting 3-speed automatic and rear-wheel drive. But the Mark IV wasn't about brutal acceleration, it was about effortless cruising. Thanks to ultra-soft suspension tuning and exceptional sound insulation, the cabin felt like a temple of silence on wheels. Inside, opulence and comfort ruled supreme. Power-adjustable lounge-style seating, faux mahogany trim, padded door panels, analog-style timepieces, and dual-zone climate control. Options included vinyl roofing, power windows, cruise control, and auto-tuning radio systems. Every journey felt like traveling first class. During 1972 alone, Lincoln sold over 48,000 Mark IVs, cementing its reputation as the preferred transportation for executives, celebrities, and public figures. It wasn't uncommon to see these cars arriving at red carpet premieres or parked outside five-star establishments. Today, a pristine Mark IV fetches between $25,000 and $50,000, with special editions like the Cartier commanding even higher prices. More than just an automobile, it's a time capsule from an era when luxury meant presence, spaciousness, and indulgent attention to detail. So, here's a question for those who lived through this era or admire it from today's perspective. Does the Mark IV represent the pinnacle of American luxury, or would you choose the Riviera's boldness or the Monte Carlo's understated elegance? The debate continues among enthusiasts. The 1974 AMC Matador Coupe, the Maverick's choice. While automotive giants like Cadillac, Lincoln, and Chevrolet dominated the luxury market, American Motors Corporation decided to roll the dice with something completely different. In 1974, they introduced the Matador Coupe, a creation that didn't ask permission from focus groups or follow conventional wisdom. It just showed up and demanded attention. The design was so unconventional, so boldly different, that it immediately split public opinion. But time has been kind to the Matador, and many now recognize it for what it truly was, a cult gem ahead of its time, now coveted by serious collectors who appreciate automotive individuality. The first thing that grabbed you was the aerodynamic, rounded, almost futuristic appearance. It was a complete departure from the boxy, angular styling that dominated the decade. That massive wraparound windshield, hidden headlights behind a thin chrome strip, and fastback-style profile made it look more like a concept car than production reality. Richard Teague, the talented French-American stylist, broke every conventional rule when designing the Matador Coupe, and he did it with obvious pride. Under the hood, several engine choices were available, with the top tier being a 401-inch V8 pushing 235 horsepower and over 332 pound-feet of torque. While not exactly lightweight at over 4,100 pounds, it handled itself admirably thanks to its low center of gravity and surprisingly refined suspension tuning. Inside, it was peak 70s charm. Padded door panels, velour or vinyl seating, metallic accents on the center console, and driver-focused instrumentation. AMC aimed to offer an affordable alternative to traditional luxury without sacrificing style or character. In its debut year, AMC sold around 62,000 Matador coupes, not blockbuster numbers, but respectable for such an unconventional design. Over time, it became genuinely rare. Its memorable cameo in the James Bond film The Man with the Golden Gun, where it sprouts wings during a chase sequence, only added to its legend among enthusiasts. Finding a well-preserved Matador coupe today is like discovering buried treasure. Prices range from $12,000 to $28,000, but its real value lies in its uniqueness. There's nothing else quite like it on the road. It's the kind of car that makes people stop and ask, what in the world is that thing? The 1976 Cadillac Fleetwood Brougham, the ultimate expression. In 1976, American automotive luxury reached its absolute peak with the Cadillac Fleetwood Brougham. This wasn't just another luxury sedan. It was a rolling monument to success, elegant excess, and the American dream in its most stretched-out, chrome-drenched, and velvet-lined form. At 19.6 feet long, the Brougham ranked among the longest production cars ever built in the United States, and deservedly so. Its road presence was so commanding that other vehicles seemed to part ways out of respect. Every design line, every inch of chrome, every Cadillac crest gleaming in sunlight was theatrical, exuberant, and absolutely unforgettable. Under that monumental hood lived an 8.2-liter V8 engine producing 190 horsepower and an impressive 360 pound-feet of torque. This giant wasn't engineered for speed. It was built for gliding. Thanks to hydro-pneumatic suspension and ultralight power steering, driving felt like captaining a land yacht with the cityscape drifting by like your personal parade. Inside, the Brougham offered one of the most luxurious environments ever installed in a production automobile. Couch-like seating in velvet or leather, wide armrests, genuine wood trim, courtesy lighting, chrome-accented ashtrays, power windows, automatic climate control, and even optional illuminated rear reading lamps. Honestly, it was more comfortable than many homes of that era. In 1976, Cadillac produced over 49,000 Fleetwood Broughams, but each one felt like custom coachwork. Today, well-preserved examples command between $20,000 and $45,000, though for dedicated enthusiasts, the emotional value is immeasurable. Because this wasn't just transportation, it was a time capsule from an era when luxury didn't whisper politely, it announced itself proudly. The 1974 Dodge Monaco, the bluesmobile legend. Big, heavy, and styled more for rugged durability than delicate finesse, the Dodge Monaco didn't politely request attention, it seized it. Stretching over 18.7 feet long and weighing nearly 4,400 pounds, the Monaco was engineered to last. Its 1974 design featured dual headlights, a bold front grille, square and aggressive front styling, wraparound metal moldings, and clean yet commanding rear treatment. It might not have been beautiful by classical standards, but it possessed undeniable presence, and sometimes that's exactly what matters most. Under the hood, buyers enjoyed plenty of choices from the 5.2-liter V8 up to the fearsome 7.2-liter big block, producing up to 275 horsepower and 354 pound-feet of torque. Paired with 3-speed automatic and rear-wheel drive, the Monaco was built for long, comfortable highway cruising. And as destiny would have it, legendary car chases. Yes, the 1974 Dodge Monaco was immortalized in popular culture. Remember the Blues Brothers? That bluesmobile that tore through Chicago's streets in some of the most chaotic and iconic chase sequences in film history? That was a '74 Monaco. That role instantly elevated the car to cult status, especially among movie buffs, pop culture fans, and lovers of muscle cars from the Twilight era. Inside, everything was straightforward but functional. Rectangular gauges, thin steering wheel, durable upholstery, and generous passenger space. It didn't attempt to rival Cadillac in luxury appointments, but it offered comfort, power, and attitude, 3 ingredients that quietly made it legendary. Today, locating a clean Dodge Monaco is no simple task. Prices range between $10,000 and $25,000. But what collectors truly value is its authenticity, because very few automobiles can claim they starred in one of cinema's most epic chase sequences.